All right. You guys ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I thought you said we were starting the stream, not starting the show. I was so confused for a moment.
The show is starting. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello and welcome to Next to Nothing, a podcast for gamers on a budget. I am your host, Danny K. With me, as always, it's the wonderful, the beautiful, the Mr. Green Elite. How are you doing, Green?
I'm here. I'm alive. I'm chilling. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. With us, like 99.9% of the time. I think he's getting his average back up now. It is
raise those numbers.
Gotta raise those numbers. It's the powerful, it's the beautiful Revspen. Padre, how are you doing this today?
Oh man, I am doing fantastic. I'm full as a tick. I had good food and some ice cream. Gonna be some problems later with that, I'm assuming. But all in all, doing fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Excellent. Excellent. Before the show starts, I really want to say, guys, we appreciate you all for joining, watching and listening. It means a lot to us that you guys would join us. We hope that you guys had a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. And a couple of things before the show starts. If you miss any part of the show, you guys can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. We do have a question of the week this week. It is... what were some of your Black Friday pickups? Let us know here live in the Twitch chat or in the YouTube comments, or you can tweet out at us. If you guys are watching live or on YouTube, make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit like, and drop a comment. It helps us out quite a bit. Anything else that we need to get rid of, or not get rid of, take care of on the top of the show?
Get rid of. We do need to get rid of, like, I don't know, ticks. Ticks are pretty rough. If we can get rid of those things suck.
Yeah, mosquitoes.
Yeah, dude, mosquitoes suck. Wasps.
Yeah.
Especially wasps.
Yeah.
Wasps.
I mean, the only thing wasps are good for are figs.
Wait,
but
what?
Let's... Oh, certain figs need wasp to pollinate.
Neat.
Fuck figs.
They actually
Are you seriously, dude? We've been live for fucking 2 minutes. You're starting already, Green?
So the wasps actually get like absorbed by the figs. It's pretty gnarly.
Not fuck figs anymore, is it? They're saviors, Green. They're saviors.
Yeah, you guys should look this up. It's pretty bizarre. All right, so today is probably going to be the Danny K show, by the way. I have 2 games to talk about, and I played it's a rare occurrence on the show when we play a card game. Like an actual card game, not something like Yu-Gi-Oh, Duel Links or something. Actual physical card game. I picked this card game. It's right here. I have it right here. I have props ready. So this game is called Trash Pandas. I picked it up last week when I needed something for me and my siblings to do. It is by Game Right. I picked it up at the Wally World, otherwise known as Walmart. And doing a little bit of research online, it looks like it can be picked up for $10 from most retailers like Target, Walmart, Amazon, and a few others. The game is for 2 to 4 players, and everything is in the box, so there's no additional setup required. Like, you don't have to like have, a special game mat or anything like that for it. The game comes with cards, instructions, a single 6-sided die, and 6 tokens. The basic idea of the game is to draw cards from the center and try to stash cards, which will be used for scoring points at the end of the game. So to start the game, you get your players, and the first player starting out gets 3 cards. The second player gets 4, and so on up to 6. The first player is determined by who took the trash out last, or if you want to just pick the player 1, that's fine too.
That's Is that your way of saying like half of us don't know who took the trash out last, or if it's even been taken out? Because same.
Right. Right. Or it's also my way of saying, like, if I have my siblings here, I probably took the trash out last, and I don't want to go first every time.
Fair. Fair, to be fair.
Because it's my home.
This is my house, Todd. I get to be Mario. You have to be player 2.
So on your turn, you roll the die, and from the result, you take a corresponding token from the center. So the die, I'll actually pull it out here. And I apologize to our audio only listeners, but the die has little illustrations on it. And each illustration corresponds to a token, these little wooden tokens. So I don't know how well that can be seen. So each one corresponds to a token. And so you roll your die, and from the center, you take the corresponding token. You can roll the die again as many times as you want until you get all 6 tokens, but if you roll a result that you've already gotten, then you lose your turn. Each token correlates to an action that you can take, and there's actually a handy little quick guide here that tells you all the things that you can do. So some of the actions that you can do is draw up to 2 cards, stash up to 2 cards. You can either draw or stash 1 card. You can steal a card, reveal. There's one action that's a little complicated. It's you reveal the top card of the deck, and other players can stash that card if they have it. And then if we're playing, I reveal it, and you guys have that card and you want to stash it. If both of you stash, then I get to draw 3 cards. If only one of you stashes, I get to draw 2 cards. And if none of you stash, I get to draw the 1 card that I revealed off the top. And then probably the most boring of them all is the recycle, which lets you reuse any of the other tokens. So if you have the recycle and you want to steal 2 cards, you can do that. You can, use the card one, or use the token to steal 1 card from a player and then steal another card. Each card has an effect that you can use by discarding it to a trash pile. For example, there's a card called Pie, and all the cards have cutesy names. That can be used to resolve a token twice in 1 turn. So if you have a token that you want to use twice, like say you want to draw 1, or draw 1 or stash 1, like the card that lets you do either or, then you could use that to stash it twice. If you want to stash twice, if you wanted to. There are also cards that you can, or another example is the Nanners card, which can be used to make someone roll again. So if you want them to lose their turn, bust out, you can roll that and try to get them to bust. Doggos and Kittes can be used to counter someone stealing. The Doggos lets you say, nope, you're not going to steal from me, I'm going to draw 2 cards. Kittes says, nope, you're not going to steal from me, I'm going to steal from you. The game ends when the last card in the deck has been drawn, and points are determined by who has the most of a card type. So each card has a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place scale on it. So for an example, if you have the most Nanners, you'll get the 1st place points of 7 points. If you get the 2nd place of the Fish cards, you get 3 points. And if you guys tie, so if me and Green Elite both have 4 cards of the 4 of the Fish cards to tie for 1st place, we'll get let me double check. Here it is. So if we both are tied for 1st place, instead of 5, we'll get 4. Both of us will get 4. Does that make sense? Did I lose you guys at any point in explaining the game?
No, I'm not much of an audio learner, but I'm really enjoying the names of the cards because I'm a simple man.
Yeah, they're all really
Fish
cutesy.
and kitties and doggos.
Yeah. It's all real cutesy shit. So I played this game with my siblings, 12 and 14, and my mom and my stepdad. And after one round with both groups, we picked it up pretty quick. It's like one game, by the end of it, they perfectly understood how to play it. Second game, there was basically no questions. The box does say for ages 8 and up. I think you could probably get a 6-year-old to play this pretty okay. I don't think there would be. I mean, it might be a little bit of a struggle, but I don't think it's going. Especially if you have a 6-year-old who likes playing games, I think they'll be pretty good at dealing with it. Overall, I actually really like this. I picked it up for a quick $10. I can't complain about it. The construction of the game is pretty all right. I do worry that the tokens might rub off some paint if you play it a lot, but that's not like a huge it's not like a super huge concern. It's all really self-contained. I mean, what I showed you guys, the box, I mean, that really was it. That was all that was there. It's really good to like throw in a bag for like a trip, or like a trip, or like a play date or something like that. So it travels fine. It's not like you're gonna have a big bulky thing with you. The game is clean, which is a plus if you want to play with kids or play around kids. It's not like something where like Cards Against Humanity or Snake Oil isn't like inherently dirty, but people can get dirty with it, I think.
Right.
So it's not a game where you have to worry about kids being around to play it. So yeah, I recommend picking it up, especially for how cheap it is. I mean, a nice blast. I really do thoroughly enjoy this game. Thoughts, questions, opinions, thoughts?
I might have to try it because like we've been playing a lot of Phase 10 at the house, and I fucking hate that game so much.
Yeah.
It's so unfair.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm kind of finding, I mean, I could probably get into it because I'm trying to find something to bide my time at least until Mantis Falls comes out. And it seems like, it's something maybe I could go ahead and, like you said, maybe a 6-year-old could play it. I can get Aiden into it and get him kind of thinking,
Yeah. And I mean, it's not super complex in terms of strategy. Like you can get kind of complex with the strategy, but for the most part, it's who has the most cards and how do you get the most cards. So there's not a ton in, there's dice and a lot of like the really fun aspects of suspense, and like apparently my little brother just sucks at rolling dice. Like he busted a ton for whatever reason. The poor kid couldn't get a turn to save his life. So there's some of that too, where you kind of see the luck of the dice play out.
I don't hate per se, but I don't like luck-based games a lot of times just because people still like brag and they get like arrogant with it. I'm like, you got lucky. The whole game is luck, kind of like Mario Party. A good portion of Mario Party is luck. But like I will fist fight somebody in a game of Mario Party for bragging.
Well, and I'll say like in terms of like luck to skill, it's kind of like, I would say it's like a 20/80. Right? The luck really comes in you can roll the dice once, you can roll the dice 3 times, you could roll the dice. There's like a bonus if you get all 6 tokens, where you basically get to do it all over again. Right? So if you roll the dice in all 6 of your rolls, or however many, because there are cards that let you redo rolls or whatever, but if you get all of the tokens, then it lets you do all of those tokens, and then it lets you roll 3 more times for a total of 9 actions in a round, not counting whatever you do with your cards afterwards.
Right.
So I mean that's the biggest thing about the luck. It's like I said, 20% luck in
80% skill, 15%. Oh, sorry.
concentrated power of will.
DMCA.
Right. Yeah. Mike Shinoda's coming for us.
Right. Mike Shinoda's gonna sue the shit out of us. So yeah, 20% luck, 80% skill. It does take some strategizing and some thinking. And, you're not gonna get by just on luck in this game. So yeah, again, I highly recommend it. I think it's worth a pickup. Find it in your local game aisle.
I will say this: when it comes to games like that, Target does a banger job of keeping their game aisle stacked with good stuff. That's where I picked up the Blockbuster Movie Night game, which is a ton of fun. And also, what was that? There was another one I picked up there. What Do You Meme, which is a ton of fun. Target kills it in the board game aisle and cards and whatnot.
Yeah, my local Walmart did not have a great board game aisle.
Yeah, ours doesn't either.
So maybe I need to go check out the Target aisle or something, or I don't know. I'm not super familiar with like some of the smaller local businesses around here, so maybe there is like a smaller game store that I should check out. But I didn't exactly have any reason to go out to a local gaming shop before the Rona. For the few months that I lived here before everything shut down. But
yeah.
Okay, so if that's all we had on Trash Pandas, I can move on to my next game. Which is Dark Fracture Prologue.
The Prologue.
So, Dark Fracture Prologue is a first-person horror game that is currently free to play on Steam. It's by Twisted 2 Studios. The minimum specs for this game are Windows 7 or newer 64-bit operating system, an Intel Core i3 equivalent or higher, an Nvidia GeForce GTX 560 or AMD Radeon R7 250X or higher, a 6 gigs of RAM, 3 gigabytes of hard drive space, and requires DirectX 11. The basics of Dark Fracture Prologue is you play as a character who works at a morgue/body farm late at night, struggling with his own mental health. At work, you begin to experience some strange occurrences. So, pretty standard or kind of generic setup, right?
Right, like a very, very heard this before kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, you're someone who struggles with mental health.
You must be the bad guy.
Or you must be, of course you're going to start experiencing the strange stuff, okay? You work at a place that's creepy. Check. Right? Like, oh, you work at a hospital or a cemetery or an abandoned warehouse or, right? Like, yeah, I mean, the setup is kind of, I do have a Let's Play of this on my channel, so you guys can check that out on the YouTube channel. Let me get to some of the good things the game does. The game is very atmospheric and moody, like all good horror games should be. The game runs well, feels smooth. And I mention this mostly because stuttering and jittering and getting caught on stuff in a horror game is more frustrating than almost anything else in this genre. Like, especially because, you have all these strobing lights and shit, and if you can't tell if it's supposed to be a part of the game or just poor optimization, it pisses me off.
Right.
Thankfully, most of the horror games are designed to run on potatoes, but I have run into it before. I will say one thing with the prologue: sound design is done really well. Everything sounded like it belonged. Nothing sounded overtly like a stock sound. I did notice that free sounds or something similar was in the credits when I did play it. But I think if you recall when we talked about what was that one game that we played that we also got Green to play?
Locked Up.
Locked up, yeah. There was like some sounds that were just like obviously stock sounds, like they didn't sound like they were in the environment. There's nothing like that here, so good on them. So some critiques I have of this, because so this is the Dark Fracture is apparently still in development. It's supposed to come out Q1 2021. So if the devs see this while they're still working on it, here are some things that I should say. First off, and I don't really think this would be something that they can really fix now, but the game looks generic. So many of these horror games are just look the same. There's no stylistic difference between them. All the assets feel like they just came from the same store. The same color palettes are used. They all go for the realistic 3D environment with no other stylistic changes at all. Right? There's no outlining or cell shading, or there's no swapped up color palettes. There's nothing. Right? They all just look like a generic first-person shooter walking simulator kind of style. You guys know what I mean? So that's kind of a strike against it. I think they're going to struggle with that in the marketing department. Because it's going to make people, well, doesn't that just look like Outlast? Doesn't that look like Locked Up? Doesn't that look like everything else,
Layers of Fear, Observer, etc.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
exactly. I think the biggest thing I noticed, and you can actually see this in my gameplay, is the throw button. Right, you pick up an object and it says T to throw. It only sort of worked. I picked something up, I pressed T, and the item dropped from my hand. Later, I picked up another object, like a coffee cup. I did the same thing, and it got fucking yeeted out of my hand. Just whoop. And I tried it a few different times to see if it was like a press and hold kind of situation, like you need to do some sort of wind up or aim it properly, and it didn't work. I was really confused because it said throw, like throw the object, and I'm like, throw, I guess this is a throw, just letting it fall out of my hand is a throw for that object. I don't know. Overall, I think the game is pretty all right. I know, strong endorsement. It took me about 40 minutes to play. The prologue of a game that hasn't been released yet for a free game. It's good. It's a good quick romp. Something good for a Friday or a Saturday night for sure. Being honest though, I'm not sure if I'm really interested in the full game. I think I've said this before on the stream, or on the podcast, but like full-length horror games don't really interest me that much. In these small, what's that?
Same.
And mostly because they're just tiresome, right? Like
oh yeah, so boring, so tiresome, just the worst.
my issue with full-length horror games, like longer ones, is that I eventually just like end up hitting a spot where I like it stops becoming scary because like I'm being chased by something and it catches me a few times, so it's less scary. That was something I feel like Layers of Fear 1 did really well. There was no go back and try again. It caught you, go back and try again. Layers of Fear 2 had that, but yeah, I mean, after a while, like man, if it takes like longer than 3 to 5 hours to complete, maybe a max of 10, I'm probably not going to complete that game.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, for me, like a horror game, especially if it's longer, right? Oh, you can start out the game, you're terrified, you're creeping, you want to see what's around the corner, you got to peek a little bit, right? Shh, 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 slow. And by like hour 3, right? Like hour 3, you're still doing that. You're still trying not to get caught by the monster, right? You hear the xenomorph? Oh, hide in the fucking locker, right? Like that's like hour 3 still, and it's like it doesn't change, and that gets old. And if you're still doing that, by like hour 5 or 6,
Interest is gone.
interest is gone. That's why
That's
I
how
did.
Remothered was for me.
Yeah.
Remothered was a huge one like that for me. Like the premise of it was great. It was pretty creepy, but
hmm
eh.
So all of that little detour there to say, I'm not interested in the full game. This is one of those situations where I appreciate that the dev put it out for free. I enjoyed what I played. I thought it was a nice little romp. I would like to pay the developers for the thing that they gave me, and this is one of the situations again where I would love if Steam had like a tipping system,
That'd be pretty cool.
right? You enjoyed this game, you got it for free, maybe tip the devs. Sure, I would give $2, maybe $2.50 for this as a thank you for a fun 40-minute romp on a Thursday night. Is what I think, and I recorded that. So,
Is there any particular reason that Steam doesn't have that they've addressed or anything, or
no, I just
Or is
think I just think it's a feature they haven't implemented at all, or maybe haven't had enough requests for.
interesting?
Because
Yeah, because I mean, itch.io does it really well.
yeah, they pay for what you want. I like that pay for what you want aspect, and maybe for Steam, it has something to do with their cut ratio. Maybe they require like consistent cuts.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's actually a really interesting question. So yeah, that's Dark Fracture. I think it's worth picking up on Steam, especially if you're looking for something scary to do. Hey, Green,
Yes, sir.
you want to make some money?
Do I want to make some money?
Yeah.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
Oh, come on,
No.
bud.
No.
I'd be willing to drop $20 on that.
Same.
No.
Guys, let us know in the chat or in the YouTube comments if you'd like to see Green play Dark Fracture Prologue.
No.
He's like, you could say all you want, doesn't mean I'm going to fucking play it.
Ooh, wait, can I use this as a challenge? Can I use this as a challenge for our audience? Yeah. If we can get 20 likes on the YouTube channel or on the YouTube video, will you play it? How many likes on the YouTube video?
At least 40, if not 50.
I think that's pretty doable.
I think it's doable.
40 or 50?
I'll give you the benefit of that. How about 50? Actually, I think if they want it hard enough, they could go for 60.
We'll keep it. We'll keep it 50.
We'll keep it 50.
50 likes. No shiesty shit by Danny.
Oh no! I wouldn't.
Actually,
Why would I get shiesty with it?
I don't know. I don't know you. You don't know me.
We've only been doing the show for a year. Have I ever tried to shiest you out of something? Well,
no. Well, yes. Yes.
Don't mention the Outlast situation.
You sent me. You said, "Hey, you want to play this game?" It sounded like an FPS game. I'm like, "Oh, sure." Then he sends me the video. Like, it's this type of game. I can't believe you said yes. Like, you motherfucker.
I said no takesies backsies. That's right.
No takesies backsies.
So yeah, if we can get 50 likes on this video, we'll get Green Elite to play this. I might throw in some cash for him too. Maybe I'll have to show up and like sit by you as you play it on stream and like hold your hand. Will that make it better?
No, you're the imposter. You're always infected.
Oh, this isn't deceit, motherfucker. Green, you got a little story for us here to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an article that was brought up by NME.com. apparently some unreleased cosmetics, as well as like all the cosmetics in the game for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the newest Assassin's Creed game, um, have been unlocked by a guy who was modding the game. Unlocked them for free. Uh, it was his name, Badum, Bud Badum, but Budabum on Nexus Mods created an inventory editor mod, which allows players to download it and access premium cosmetics such as the Berserker, Valkyrie, Jogger, and Hold of Folk packs on PC. So it's like a way of circumnavigating the pay to get this shit, um, to get the actual cosmetics in the game for free versus paying for them, which is pretty shisty. I mean, I get it, sticking it to the man, sticking it to the corporate elite, but that's illegal. So
it actually, when you describing it, gave me a question here.
Mhm.
Were these premium cosmetics were they included in the download?
yeah, they were in the. I would assume that they're like in the download of the game, like in the in the save files, but like you had to purchase them to get them.
Okay, so it was a lot like several years ago. There's like the whole paid DLC thing, but it came on the disc, right? So when the game shipped, that was on Street Fighter. I think it was like on Street Fighter 4, where
I think so.
Where if you bought Street Fighter 4 on the disc, there were characters locked or something locked until you made the purchase. So that sounds like it was something very similar here, which makes me laugh a little bit that Ubisoft thought that nobody was going to find a way to break that.
Yeah, it's not uncommon for them to like preload files, especially like before DLC comes out. Like that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of stuff was on Apex was getting leaked was because they would have the data miners go in and find all these files that are ready to go. They finally caught on when they did the whole Revenant release with I think his name was Forge.
Yeah.
They did that whole video and like they were putting leaks of him in the save files, but not Revenant. And we didn't even get him. We got Revenant
the old
instead.
bamboozle. They miraged you, Green, is what they did. They hit you with that mirage.
I was so excited. I wanted to try out Forge too. I was like, oh yeah, he's got like one big arm that, like Doomfist and could be a brawler type. Like, got so excited, but
yeah.
I don't know how well this will go, like legally, repercussions wise. Like I'm sure the modder's gonna get into some trouble for selling this mod. So
probably.
Oh yeah, probably.
I would put my money down that he's gonna get in some financial trouble because he's fucking with the money.
Fat legal financial money.
Yeah.
Problems.
Remember, you don't fuck with the money. You never, ever fuck with the money.
Especially when it comes to Ubisoft. That's their bread and butter. They care more about that money than they do their own employees.
No joke.
I said it.
No
I said it.
Joke. Hey, I sign on to that statement.
Hold on. I got to do it. Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? I always keep a pin here specifically for that meme. I lied. I'm sorry.
Anything else on this Assassin's Creed Valhalla situation?
No, but it'll be definitely interesting to watch and see what happens going forward, especially if there's like some intense legal battles over it.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, let's go on ahead and take a break then. Guys, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Stay right there. And we'll see you when we see you. hope you guys are enjoying the show. We do this podcast to help you guys figure out what games to play when you're low on cash and help you put into perspective what all the weekly gaming news means and what it could mean for your wallet. Have we helped you save a little money recently? If so, could you do us a favor? Subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you ring that bell and drop a like and tell a friend about us. We sincerely appreciate you for watching and listening. And please, enjoy the rest of the show. All right, and we are back. You guys, just hold on one second. I gotta get a sound effect lined up real quick. It's just gonna be such a sexy show today. Let me find. There it is. Just
Daddy.
guys, we got to talk about some DOJ, some Department of Justice lawsuits.
Oh yeah. Can I get a oh yeah?
Guys, I don't think you realize just how sexy this conversation's about to get. So we have an update to the antitrust conversations we've been having over the last several months. And that is that according to the Wall Street Journal, both Facebook and Google will be facing new antitrust lawsuits from the DOJ. Last month, the DOJ filed their first suit against Google, which we covered. And by the end of this coming January, there could be as many as 4 lawsuits against the two tech giants. Facebook could be seeing a lawsuit over its domination in the social media market, specifically through its purchases of Instagram and WhatsApp. And according to sources at the FTC, they are getting close to approving the antitrust suit. A quick note here, it's not just the feds gearing up for legal action. The New York Attorney General, Letitia James, is preparing her own suit, which may or may not be jointly filed with the FTC. Google is getting looked at by the DOJ on its own acquisitions, such as its 2008 purchase of DoubleClick, as well as its general dominance in search and advertising. Once again, the feds are not alone in this, as a coalition of state attorney generals in Texas and Colorado are also planning to file suit against Google. There's also been a litany of cases of class action lawsuits filed against Google, one specifically brought on behalf of app purchasers and app developers, which claims that Google restricts competition in the Android mobile app market, allowing it to unfairly charge higher prices, which is the biggest consequence for our listeners and their daily lives and our niche here as a whole. Both Google and Facebook deny any wrongdoing, of course, and decline to comment further. On its face, Rev, what do you think?
Dude, we've been spending so much time talking shit about Apple and everything that like I kind of feel like maybe it's time to flip the script and be even about this. I don't know, fuck Google. I'll say it. God dang it.
What?
I said it. I said what I said. They really do. I mean, here's the thing, man. In the end, they need to realize that a lot of these people who are into this, into smaller file size stuff and all, the things that we try to help pass along in this show with messages of getting inexpensive stuff out there. This idea that you're going to do things that are going to end up flipping that script and causing prices to increase because you want an extra few cents in your pocket per download when you're one of the richest fucking corporations in the world. Stop it.
Stop. Get some help.
Get some help. Stop it. Stop.
Green.
Ron, stop.
Green. On its face.
Stop. Well, I don't know. There's just been so much antitrust going on. It's just like who do I trust? Who do I trust? Like, there's just so much antitrust going. It's everywhere.
There is no trust anymore. It is only antitrust.
It's broken. It's just negative trust. So, this one will be interesting to keep an eye on as well, especially since like I'm not denying I'm a Samsung fanboy when it comes to like cell phones, which I mean inevitably ties back to Google with the Google Play Store and shit like that. So I mean, I'll say fuck Facebook because I don't really care for Facebook that much. Like, I am on Facebook if you guys want to check it out, but I've never been a huge fan of Facebook as a whole, especially with how constantly they're changing things. But yeah, it'll definitely be something we got to keep our eye out on. Because in any one of these lawsuits that like for antitrust hearings, can potentially change the gaming industry like vastly in the future. So
in a negative way, in a bad way.
If you're used to it now,
and
something happens and it's like, oh well, you can no longer buy mobile games on Google Plus or Google Play, that if you're a mobile gamer, that's going to affect you. So yeah, it's just something that you really got to be mindful of.
Yeah, and I mean it could also affect, in terms of like Google's advertising, they obviously have a bunch of services, right? So Google Stadia or the Google Play Store, right? If there's a game that you're looking at and it's on there, they could, it could be at the end of these lawsuits, it could be illegal for them to prioritize that content or those platforms over anything else in your search results. So the last time we did talk about these antitrust situations, I mentioned that you shouldn't expect any quick or immediate developments. These kinds of lawsuits are very, very, very slow and could take almost a decade. I haven't seen a lot of legal strategies or arguments that are going to be in play. And honestly, even if I had, I wouldn't be able to tell you how effective or correct they would be. I am not a lawyer. I think I've said this before, I've had one law class that I passed pretty well. I mean, I did pretty well in that law class, but I'm not a lawyer. Never done the LSAT, never done the pre-law, never even looked at legal school.
You're like that. You're like that guy that took one psych class and now you understand how everybody's mental health works.
I at least try to admit, though, that I have a competent enough understanding in media and communications that I can keep myself out of trouble. Antitrust and like big massive business shit, I have no idea. No idea. Like these are multi-billion-dollar companies. And this is federal law. Like this is way past me. So find some good trusted sources, the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. Although if it ever comes to Amazon, don't trust the Washington Post because the Washington Post is owned by Amazon. But maybe the LA Times, some of those bigger national newspapers.
Or some of us call it the La Times. For us cultured people who grew up in a Hispanic household.
Well, yeah, and then of course, when it comes to it's not the NY Times, it's the Nia Times.
Yeah, the Knights who say Nia Times.
We are the Knights of Nia
Times.
Or the Washpoo.
Yes.
The
Wapu.
The Wapu. The Bost Gloob.
I like that one.
The
just because it says lube.
The Washington football team.
Or what would the Chicago Tribune be?
I don't know. That one's pretty cultured. We'll leave it as it is. I don't know. They're pretty close to Canada, so like the Chicago Tribune, A.
the Chic Trib. I don't know. All right, I think we've beat that joke to death in half. Do you guys want to go on to our next story?
Do it to it, Lars.
1 second. I apparently forgot to put this in the proper place, so I am doing it on the fly.
Is that something that would technically be on the
The birds work for the bourgeoisie.
Was that green?
Is that something that would technically be on the bingo card?
Which one? Oh, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. Anyways.
Refer to the bingo card.
Refer to the bingo card. Guys, don't forget to fill out your bingo cards. I think we probably would have had a couple. Between this show and last week, we might have already had a bingo. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. We said fuck Apple. I know that. We've had a sexual innuendo.
Multiple.
Always.
Yeah. I have mentioned Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Squirrel Stapler. Oh, this one is Danny goes to the wrong scene. So
I haven't done that yet today.
Have you forgotten to change the topic?
I forgot to put one in, but I just changed the right topic here. Which this topic is related to all the GPU shortages we've been experiencing. Which all I've got to really say here is it must be 2015 again because crypto bros are back and ruining the tech market for everyone.
Yay!
Yeah, 2015, baby. According to a report from Barron's, Nvidia sold $175 million worth of Ampere GPUs to crypto miners. A quote from their investor call, for the quarter in review, Nvidia sold at least $175 million worth of new generation GPUs to Ethereum miners, helping the outperformance. The analyst has guided sales to miners to come in at $150 million for the quarter. So, yeah, if you have been trying to buy a new Nvidia GPU, 30 series GPU, and can't because they're all sold out, not only are scalpers getting them, but the people who have giant server farms mining Ethereum. Apparently, the big rush has been because of a change coming to Ethereum, one of the major cryptocurrencies. I think it's like the top 5. Miners need to update their farms ASAP and picked all the cards they could get.
This is why they can't have nice things.
Right.
Yep.
Again, dude, I just saw this and I'm like, this was 2015. Literally, this was 2015. This is what happened in 2015. Was Bitcoin miners got a fucking hard on and tried to build as many machines as they could. What's that?
They're like, oh, Bitcoin is going to be so big in 5 years. When did that happen? Where are the fucking results, Marty McFly?
I mean,
I
a
don't.
Bitcoin is worth like 10 G's.
It is, but like they're like, oh, it'll be used everywhere. Like how when was the last time you went to the store and you used your Bitcoin at the fucking Bitcoin reader? Like they were saying was going to happen in the next 5 years back in 2015.
Oh, it's way too unstable for that.
Exactly. It's
I will
just
say
waste of
this though,
time.
it is at its highest point since 2017 when it was at its highest. I mean, it's literally at the second highest point it's ever been.
I had the option. The reason why I'm so fucking salty is because I think it's 2011 or 2012, I had the option to purchase like 100 Bitcoin for like $80.
Tisk, fucking tisk, my guy.
I
Wow.
know. I was playing RuneScape, and some guy was like, "You should check out this stuff called Bitcoin." I'm like, "That's a fucking joke. That's not gonna turn into anything. I could have been a fucking millionaire living in a yacht off the Atlantic, just chilling."
Living
No,
in a yacht. No actual home, just on a yacht.
on a yacht with like fine bitches, like on the yacht. I
Uh,
let me be
I lost
clear.
it at 5 bitches.
Let me be clear. I love my life. I wouldn't trade it for anything, including a yacht full of bitches.
Hey McKenna,
So
what are your thoughts on this yacht full of bitches?
she'd be like, "Hell yeah, I will climb aboard, good sir."
yeah.
So
I when I was researching this story yesterday, I decided to start looking at the prices of some of these other cryptocurrencies because Bitcoin's not the only one. Dogecoin has never gotten above $1,
you
and
say that right? That's Doge coin.
Doge, fuck off.
It's
Anyways,
Doge,
I will
like
mute you.
the Doge meme.
So that has never gotten above $1, and I'm really tempted to maybe turn my machine to mining it for a little bit and just wait on it, like sit on it. You know, maybe get like 100 of them and just wait. You know what's the matter of just waiting? Put them on an SD card.
I do have to say that like Doge coin probably won't go anywhere because it legitimately is a meme
I know.
currency. So like, Danny is telling you to buy them all. Don't fucking buy them all.
Oh no, it's literally like the price of it. I looked it up. It's like the 24-hour high was 0.0036 of a dollar.
Take a gander on my Robinhood app.
Yeah, that was like the 24-hour high. I'm like, oh yeah, like
Bitcoin is
36 thousandths
$18
of a
right now.
dollar. Woo. Um yeah, so right now, I mean, when I see this story about Nvidia just selling all of these cards, knowingly selling these cards, which I can't necessarily fault them, but I'm pissed because I ran into this exact same situation in 2015 when I built my first PC. Literally all of the cards were either sold out or the prices were jacked up because Bitcoin miners needed the cards. And here I am building my second PC. And I'm stuck with the same situation, and it's not like I can do anything because it's either Nvidia or AMD, and they're both, I guarantee AMD is going to be doing the exact same thing, selling basically directly to their fucking Bitcoin miners, and there's no other choices out there.
Ethereum is on a really high increase this year.
Yeah, like Ethereum, I think,
$400.
yeah, I was gonna say it's over 100.
Over $400 worth of increase. It's
Woof.
at five. It's fluttering around $594.50.
Damn. What was it? I think it
So,
was like Monero that I saw that was like right around $100.
Bitcoin Cash, 291. Bitcoin SV is 170. Dogecoin is fluttering right around 0.0034.
Oh,
And
it
then
went down.
Litecoin is fluttering around $86.18.
Yeah.
Damn.
Ethereum Classic it's a 625. So if you want to hit up on the Classic,
What's the
Classic.
difference between Ethereum and Ethereum Classic?
No
It's just
fucking
sugar
idea.
free.
Yeah, it's classic light.
Made with real cane
No, I
sugar and cocaine.
And
cocaine in the pierogies.
cocaine. Well, you know, I'm gonna get all that cocaine from using my Ethereum. What's
You
up,
put
Silk
cocaine
Road?
in these
Let's
pierogies. I put cocaine in the pierogies.
Ethereum is like Vine. Like Ethereum Classic is like Vine. Ethereum New is like TikTok. Everything.
Or is
is
Ethereum new
false.
Byte? Because it's like Bitcoin would be TikTok because it's like the most relevant micro content consumption site, but it has nothing to do with. But
No.
Byte.
Bitcoin is Twitter.
Oh God. Well, yeah, it is a dumpster fire sometimes, I guess. But it's like, you know, the classic versus the original is like Byte and what is Vine. God, I never used Vine. I always forget what it was called.
Vine. Vine was so fucking good. Loved it.
Okay. Anything else on the GPU shortages? Green, you want to say anything about it?
The only thing I can really think of is that college humor video. If Google was a person, and
Mhm.
it's like that sleazy guy in the suits, just like, what is Bitcoin? How buy Bitcoin? How much Bitcoin worth? How to sell Bitcoin? That's all I can think of. I don't know why. It's just that's how my brain works. So it's
Rip
pretty
college
shitty.
humor.
Like, yeah, rip.
Ripperoni pizza there.
But yeah, like it's shitty that it's happening. Like I'm not necessarily surprised. It's pretty shitty for the average consumer as well. You know, me being an average consumer. But I mean, what can you do? Like, I can't really be pissed at Nvidia for doing it. I mean,
No.
they got to make their bread.
Yeah.
Same as Google and Apple. They got to make their bread.
Yeah. Like I said, I can't necessarily be mad, and you know, but I'm still frustrated. Guys, we just again, let's, you know, put on some Marvin Gaye. Right? We got just another sexy discussion here.
Oh, let's get it on.
Ajit Pai is stepping down as the FCC chair. Like I said, there's a lot of legal and policy news this week, but we want to keep you guys informed on these types of things because they do affect your wallet. So Ajit Pai, the FCC chairman and poster child for American corporatism, will be stepping down on January 20th. He was appointed to the position by the Trump administration in 2017. His quote here: "It has been the honor of a lifetime to serve as the Federal Communications Commission's chair, or serve at the Federal Communications Commission, including as the chairman of the FCC over the past 4 years. I am grateful to President Trump for giving me the opportunity to lead the agency in 2017, to President Obama for appointing me as a commissioner in 2012, and to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell in the Senate for twice confirming me to be the first Asian American to chair the FCC. Has been a particular privilege as often as I say, only in America." During his time as the FCC as chair of the FCC, his most impactful action was, of course, the deregulation of net neutrality, a principle that basically says that all internet traffic should be treated impartially by the internet service providers, regardless of the source of the traffic. Also, I know you look defeated there that I read over your little note. But we're not giving them that many freebies. So a quick kind of like overview of net neutrality. I think we've talked about it on the show before, but basically the principle in effect would prevent large providers from charging more for services they didn't directly profit from or would rather stifle. An example of this would be Verizon, who Ajit Pai was previously an attorney for. Funny how that works. It would prevent them from slowing down traffic from Vox Media because Vox competes with Huffington Post, who is owned by Verizon. This policy of net neutrality does also have some negatives for consumers, most notably providers can't support their products by giving it favorable treatment Like how AT&T would allow customers who also have DirecTV to stream that content without it counting against their monthly data allowance. There are other deals that have been made between content providers like YouTube and some other wireless and internet service providers. Personally, I think there's a good middle ground here where you can say ISPs can't stifle, slow down, or block traffic from competitors, but they can give some preferential treatment to other traffic. I think there's if you are like a DirecTV customer and you want to stream DirecTV to your phone, I think it's great if AT&T wants to give you high-speed internet to your phone regardless of your data cap, or not, charge that against your data allowance for the month. I think that's perfectly fine. But I do disagree with the idea that Comcast, who owns NBC, wants to slow down traffic coming from Netflix, right? That's no bueno. So I think there is a good medium there. So back to the big picture. Biden will be appointing a new chair to the FCC, and depending on who it is and what the Biden administration wants to do, we might see some changes to what ISPs can and cannot do. Maybe potentially they could institute some policies or loosen regulations or tighten regulations that could provide for resources for rural and lower income communities to get better services in their areas. This also, of course, I know I'm talking specifically about internet, but it also does affect your wireless, so your phone providers. It also affects cable and radio and TV. So keep all that stuff in mind. It also affects like satellite. So if you have satellite TV or satellite internet, the FCC controls all of that. Green, want to get your opinion on this first, and then we'll go to Rev, and then I got my final thoughts on it too.
I don't know. I'm kind of like numb about it. It's like, I mean, these chairs, change at the drop of a hat. Almost every new presidential seat. I didn't get huge into this guy. I'm not really knowledgeable on this, what he's done, what he hasn't done, stuff like that. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see who Biden appoints, because I know a lot of policies Obama put into place, and quintessentially Biden took part in as well. I didn't really find favorable, like the Patriot Act. But we'll definitely have to keep an eye on it. See who he appoints and what their actual stance is especially when it comes to net neutrality, as well as a lot of other policies that the FCC has put into place, especially curse words. Kids are desensitized now. A lot of them say fuck, and they're not even 12. And
well,
what are we doing?
1v1 me, you pussy!
Not only that,
I fucked your mom last night. 10 years old, balls haven't even dropped yet.
Yeah. See, not only that, but the president cursed on air.
Huge. That's just huge.
It's just they don't want to fuck with us. He said that live on the Rush Limbaugh program.
Classic.
Where's his fine, FCC? Where's his $30,000 fine? Huh?
I'd have fined him.
I would have fined him too. I think most people really know Ajit Pai for his cringy fucking Christmas video that he did. When he announced that he was deregulating net neutrality, and he had fucking Nerf blasters and fucking what am I thinking? Fidget spinners in his hands. He just sat there.
Yeah, he had one in each hand.
Which it's ridiculous. He the FCC chair position holds kind of like a special place in my head because I work in radio and I do a bunch of shit on the internet. So it's like he affects a lot of what I do or what I can do legally for work and stuff like that. Rev, what's your thought?
So this is going to be actually one of the things that kind of concerns me moving forward is whoever's going to be appointed next might take the job a little more seriously, and when they do, you might see like a massive crackdown on everything that's been going on live streaming with like the DMCA stuff. Like you never know. You may see somebody else come in and shut down this, because let's face it, like in the grand scheme of things, live stream entertainment like this are pretty fair game. Like, you get to skirt by TOS sometimes with certain things, and then like sometimes it's like up for interpretation and all kinds of stuff. So I'm kind of worried that whoever comes in next might actually look at like what's been going on with, because like Jeff Bezos getting called out on Capitol Hill in Congress, like during the antitrust hearings about DMCA complaints and copyrighted music being played by broadcasters and stuff. And he was like kind of embarrassed because he had no idea what they were talking about, because let's face facts, Amazon doesn't really care what Twitch is doing as long as Twitch doesn't break any laws, right? Which in essence they kind of are by allowing, they were by allowing streamers to do this. And I'm worried that the next chair might actually look at that and say, well, during these antitrust hearings, this was a question that he didn't even have answers to. We need to start cracking down on this because, legally speaking, all these other people are losing money because they're yada, yada, that whole thing. And so I'm actually kind of nervous about that. Because if he does appoint somebody that's been paying attention, it's kind of one of the bigger things that have been happening in any kind of broadcasting media sense, over the last few months, at least relevant in our lives. But aside from that, it's just like, I don't know. I don't want somebody to be able, I don't want somebody to allow practices that are going to result in borderline monopolization.
Yeah. So in terms of the DMCA stuff, a lot of that really isn't the FCC's purview. They handle mostly they do handle some of like the content situations, right? Like you can't they handle the safe harbor laws, what can and can't be said on the air, especially public airwaves. Really mostly public airwaves. That's the big deal. Airwaves that can be like, you can accidentally make a radio, right? Like, everyone can get radio and TV over the air for free. And that's the reason why its content is governed like that. When it comes to digital content, that's not a huge deal, right? We swear like sailors on the fucking show, right? And no one can stop us because this is not something that is being publicly distributed over the air. Now, if this was somehow picked up by a radio station, right? If a radio station was syndicating us, then that would be a problem. The radio station or we would have to produce content that covered and censored that up. The DMCA stuff, that would be something that's handled by the courts. And really the big the RAII and rights holders would have to go and start putting those disputes into courts, and then the courts would have to fine the violators, which in this case would be the streamers and Twitch. That way. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but that's my general understanding of what would happen there. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, like, from what you do know, do you have any answer to what's stopping somebody in the future from blanketing live broadcasts on, say, Twitch, like internet streaming as opposed to airwaves streaming? What's to stop somebody from slapping regulations on us the same and blanketing us under the same laws and everything that they are under, like, what you can say and can't say and whatnot online, as a like through a visible medium, like not just like typing in a forum or something, but like through video or broad, like actual like live broadcasting. What's to stop them from including this under that same blanket?
As far as I know, nothing.
That's why I'm worried.
Yeah, and I don't think that would happen though. I think here in the States, I don't think that would necessarily happen. Now in Europe, I know there's some other issues. The EU's communication, I know that they've had a lot of fears of that happening in the EU, but I don't think it would happen in the States.
And to be fair, I mean, the states are probably not going to be putting any kind of hindrances on people who are making money for the U.S. government, and we all get taxed on this if we're making money. So I guess there is that.
Yeah. And that would actually be something I would have to like ask my company's corporate lawyer or like do some reading on that kind of stuff.
So I think that might actually be kind of an important. I think that might just be important information to have, regardless of what happens moving forward. Like what's stopping them from doing? Because surely there's got to be a reason. I mean, I don't know if it's like because like technically what's happening now is like free speech as opposed to a like scripted program put out by a company, or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah. So my kind of final thoughts, and I kind of that is a great question, Rev, and I don't know the legal questions to that. I'll have to actually research that. My focus really is on net neutrality. My opinion is I hope whoever becomes the next chair will take the middle ground on net neutrality, allowing companies to favor their content through free streaming, while also not allowing companies to stifle traffic that comes, that they want to stifle. And if they do, I hope they face very severe fines in doing so. I think the biggest reason since deregulation, and I'll be straight honest here real quick. I know I say I want the middle ground. My second is net neutrality. I don't want it completely deregulated. And I think the main reason things didn't go to complete shit in the last 4 years since deregulation of net neutrality is because a lot of these internet service providers also own a bunch of media companies, right? Comcast owns NBC, Verizon owns HuffPost and Yahoo and Engadget, and AT&T owns DirecTV, right? Like everybody in communications owns. They're not they're not monopolistic really in terms of like, oh, all these companies. Some of them are like Time Warner are, but like they're not like monopolistic and like there's only one company that owns all of ISPs. They just own every part of communications, right? Like they own, like Entercom, CBS is owned by somebody. Cox, I know specifically Cox. Cox Cable owns radio stations, and they own TV stations.
I'm sorry, who owns radio stations and TV stations?
Cox.
Can you say it one more time for me?
Cox.
Yes. Okay. Just verifying. Just wanted to make sure. I knew.
So
right.
Yeah. Cox.
I'm shopping for
like,
new
right,
chairs as we speak.
So like, right, they own like what's the proper word? Laterally? Like they laterally all own a lot. And I think the big getting back to my point here, I think the big reason that we didn't see things go to complete shit is because as soon as one of those companies fired the first shot, it was all going to go to hell. Right? As soon as Comcast started like throttling Yahoo and HuffPo, Verizon was going to throttle everything from NBC and vice versa. It was kind of I think it was kind of like a World War I situation. I think nobody wanted to fire that first shot because everyone knew they were going to get fucked.
That we know of. Because like, I know like the major like cable ISPs all have like an agreement on like regional segments. So like Cox has a certain side of the map, Comcast has a certain section of the map, and then like MediaCom and all those.
And
like
Time Warner.
if you look at a map, if you look at a map, they have like an actual segmented like, hey, this is our area. I agree on that. We'll be in this area, with like regions that overlap for competition. And like it's a legitimate thing. Like they have an agreement of a region, and like with those overlapping segments, so there's competition. So like if you're in an area that's like dead center Cox, you're stuck with Cox.
They gerrymandered it. Yeah, no.
They just wiggled it in there and
Mhm.
like if you're there, you're stuck
Yeah.
with the Cox.
Yeah, no, I mean that is a huge problem. And another massive problem that we really do see, and this is again one of those things that the FCC would have some control over, is um the rights to build infrastructure in order to provide service, right? um we'll just take Verizon for example, right? Verizon has to build these massive towers. They have to get like rights to all the frequencies, and okay, you're going to be on this tower, how high can your satellites be up, how are they tuned, which way can they face, are they interfering with other towers in the area, all that stuff the FCC controls. So that it could be that like a new FCC head could um come on in and say, okay, hey, we're gonna like loosen up some of these regulations, or we're going to allow some of these smaller companies an opportunity to come in, or we're gonna do this differently, and maybe we could see some new companies come in. There's also it's a big, huge, complicated mess that affects some of that stuff, and the companies have so much fucking money that they can kind of bully, or as I said before, maybe install people into the department to get things done. Like I said, Ajit Pai was a former corporate lawyer for Verizon. Kind of like I said, the poster child for corporatism in America. And I didn't see where Ajit Pai is going after this. So I don't know if he's going back to Verizon with a nice cushy pay grade, but I would not be surprised. Like all of a sudden he's got a nice executive lawyer job and making an extra 20 G's, or not 20 G's, 200 G's on top of what he was making before as a lawyer. I wouldn't be surprised by that. So
Agreed.
It's a big, complicated mess. There's a lot of shit that the FCC controls, and it will affect your day-to-day life if depending on how they decide on things like net neutrality, and how they're gonna who they're gonna allow set up in different areas. Of course, the companies have to be able to invest that capital into making that infrastructure. So if you are looking at, like in my area, I'm on communications, right? Like they have to build that infrastructure. They have to lay that cable down. They have to set up those satellite dishes and all that stuff. That all has to be done. They have to pay for that. So that's another big problem that we see, is that it's not a huge deal for Verizon to run cable out somewhere, right? But a smaller company, they have to pay for those permits. They have to pay for the people to lay it down. And they're not a huge, massive conglomerate that has a bunch of subsidies, or not subsidies, subsidiaries that makes up those costs. So, anything else on this particular topic?
No, I pretty much said my piece on it with the what kind of worries me moving forward. But aside from that, I don't really have much right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep my eye out on who the new chair is gonna be. I have a feeling the FCC, almost everyone in the FCC, as I understand it, has connections to the private industry. Like they kind of go from private industry into the FCC. So hopefully we don't get another poster child for corporatism, where what's good for the industry, not necessarily consumer, is put ahead of, or is what is done. So, all right, anything else on the show, guys?
No, sir.
No, I think that about covers everything. The Danny K Show, featuring moderate commentary from Green Elite and Rev.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's about what we got here today. So, Green Elite, what's coming up on your channel?
I have some big news coming up soon. So just keep an eye out. I haven't really decided on whether I want to talk about it yet or not. We'll see. We'll see. So just keep an eye out on my Twitter for sure. At least the Twitter. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be planning on playing here in the next week, but probably more Call of Duty and Apex for sure. Apex has got me really hooked, especially with playing a lot with Rev. So
Dude, I've been having so much fun with season 7.
it's been a blast. Having so much fun. But yeah, you can catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mr. Green Elite. My Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff is Mr. Green Elite, except for Instagram, which is TTV Mr. Green Elite, because some guy picked the name before me and I can't get it. So super depresso. Yeah.
Excellent, guys. Go check him out. Of course, links are always in the description. Revsfen, Padre, what's coming up on your channel?
Let me spit that straw out. Coming up on my channel, I have officially started I officially started a set schedule for full-time content creation as of yesterday. So coming up for me tomorrow, we're actually doing something special because on Mondays and Wednesdays I'll be streaming twice a day. And tomorrow we're going to be breaking out the Bob's Burgers cookbook finally and cooking the Sympathy for the Deviled Egg burger that has deviled eggs in the burger. And
Delicious.
And then tomorrow night will likely be Apex with the friendos. If anybody wants in on some Apex tomorrow night. And then after that, I'll be streaming mornings on days that are not Monday or Wednesday. And I had this game that was full disclosure was given to me. I need give me just 1 second while I pull the actual name of the studio. It's called Sears Isle. It's by Novabox. They're the same ones that made the Across the Grooves that some people have seen me play. The visual novel about the music and everything was really, really good. And this one's an interactive visual novel that also has Twitch integration into it. So I'm going to start with that coming up and then kind of see where things go from there. I would like to continue Danganronpa, but I feel like it's just going to be a very lengthy game, and it may just not be in the cards for me right now. So aside from that, if you want, you can literally find me anywhere on the interwebs at RevsfinTV, or if you just want, you can actually go to mylinks.gg/RevsFin. It has everything you could ever want to know about me in there, including my anus size. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
Interesting.
It's hidden.
It's hidden.
It's hidden. Look for it, but it's there. About it.
Coming up on my channel, I'm not quite sure. Probably playing more Fallout 4. Yeah, I'm still not quite sure what all I want to play right now. I'm still kind of feeling like this lull. My PC is really showing its age right now. So we'll see what all I will try out and won't try out. I am working on the YouTube channel, so if you guys haven't yet, go subscribe over there because I am doing a not for broadcast playthrough, let's play over there. So you guys can join me for over there. I'm trying out some other games, including I have a video of Dark Fracture Prologue on there. So you guys can check out all that stuff. Other than that, yeah, Revson?
Real quick news on Not for Broadcast, since you actually mentioned it. The official episode 2 is going to be coming out in January.
Dope. So yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at DaniK, DANIECAE. You guys can also find me on Instagram under the same handle. If you guys missed any part of the show, you guys can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. If you guys like what we do and want to help support the show, there are a couple ways to do it. First off, because I didn't want to almost forget this, if you guys want to help support the show, you can leave a comment on the YouTube video. That really helps us out with the algorithm. So go on ahead and answer this question of the week if you want to help us out. And that is, what were your Black Friday pickups? What deals did you snag? What games did you pull in? And what were some sweet deals that you guys got? So make sure you guys answer that. You guys can also leave us a like and subscribe and ring the bell on YouTube. You guys, the number one way, though, that you guys can help us out with is by telling your friends. So go on ahead.
50 likes and I play a stupid horror game.
That's true. Yeah, on this episode.
Do it. Do it.
And we'll give you guys we're gonna make this hard, right? It's 50 likes by the next episode of the podcast. You have 7 days to get 50 likes on this video.
7 days.
7 days. I don't think they can do it. I don't think
Stop antagonizing them, Danny. I know what you're doing.
You won't, pussy. Do it.
I don't think that they can pull 50 likes on this in 7 days. I don't believe it.
You're doing this on purpose, and I don't like it.
Damn right I am. So yeah, that's all the ways you guys can help and support the show. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. Anything else that we wanted to mention? Anything else we wanted to say?
Other than I love you, no.
All right.
I'll never stop loving you, bitch.
All right, guys. Have a good week. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Keep fighting the good fight, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.